Natalie coming to you live. Spirit and coffee. Got my coffee here. Yum, yum. Mm. And I have got my Nespresso pods. So we'll see how they work out. I've been loving my Nespresso machine. Okay. So let's see here. We've got, oh yeah, my beautiful mug that was skillfully crafted. Bear coffee, silver tin. Boom. So amazing. Okay, let's get started. As you can see, I'm in, my hair's up, I have my glasses on. Typically when that happens, what does it mean? It means I'm not working, so I can be comfortable. Not that I'm not comfortable getting dressed but it always feels so good to like be in your bed and cozy and not have to get up and just, oh, the blankets are warm and fluffy and I have a fluffy blanket. You guys know my entire life. It's awesome. It's like a reality show of Natalie. So imagine my life is this all the time. It's just always this. Crazy, right? Pretty crazy. But you guys, we were talking last night, my family, because I'm staying with my mom, living with my mom. And so my stepdad's like, you know, oh, sometimes I get on there and stuff. I go, well, it's reality. This is reality TV. This is like not faking it, right? It's like you'll hear the washer going on. You'll hear, people getting ready in the morning, and it's not going to stop me from getting on here because the point is that not to be perfect, but to give you guys information. Really. Good morning, Kenny. Anyway, it's pretty hilarious. Like, you have my mom and she's mean and I don't know what in the background. So this is real reality TV, you guys. At its finest. Okay. Because I'm not living by myself anymore, which is kind of nice. I was thinking about that and I was thinking like, I was living by myself about a year ago and it was just, it was silent. And I was like, okay, this is not, I had a big space for just me. Didn't make sense. And so we long for connection, right? And so that's really what the human condition is about, is that we really want to be connected to one another. We really want to have that connection with each other. And so I was like, it's really nice to at least have people here. It's good. Like I'm the one who's home the most, but but at least there's other people here and I can communicate and talk to you and I'm not talking to the walls or it's going to go crazy, insane. I'll end up like Einstein, hair big, reading books, mad scientist, doing God knows what is what I was going to end up being. Good morning, Will. So is this Will from the Philippines? No? Yes. Okay. Let's get started. I'm going to start reading today from the book. Yay. Okay. I like that little girl. That little meme or what is it? It's a sticker or a GIF, whatever you guys call it. That's me. Okay. Sorry. I'll get started. Okay. So we're reading on the Four Agreements, page 18, and we're talking about um, how the reality is not real, or what we think is reality is not real. The Maya, the lies, the things that we believe in, the way that we think we need to be perfect. We're striving for perfection. There's no such thing as perfection. How we were raised, how we were programmed, what they told us was right and wrong, all of these things, right? And it's caused a lot of grief in people's life. Sometimes the way that we were raised, the way that we were conditioned, the way that our parents told us to do things. Now, if you had parents that were loving, kind, and nurturing, it might not be as traumatic. If you had a parent who sort of used discipline to make you right be the way that they wanted you to be. Good morning, Robert. Then listen here for yes, it's Will. Good morning, Will. Good morning, BDF. BD Find. I think that's what it is. And so our parents sometimes what would they do? They would beat us into some, not all, beat us into saying like this is how you're supposed to behave. And or if we had parents who were mentally ill and they projected that on us, all of these things, right? Conditioned who we are as human beings. Good morning, Julie. And so we have sort of lived into this idea of what we think we should be based upon what we were taught. Now, some people say, well, not necessarily. Well, I'm going to call it out and I'm going to say, yes, yes, yes. Because it was, let's say it wasn't conditioned in the automatic, but subconsciously it's in there. And when we start to dig deep, if we deny it, right, we then don't have the opportunity to dig into the deep subconscious mind to what? To change the patterns that are on automatic, that are not serving us in our life. But when we're honest with ourselves and we say, okay, what was the trauma? And this is hard for people because people want to shove down the trauma in their life and the way that they were conditioned through their parents or whoever raised them, right? Whoever your early influencers in life are the ones that pre-programmed and conditioned you and sort of set the foundation that I've been talking about for who you are today. They did. They set the foundation. Now, in the foundation that they set, right, you started to move through life that way, maybe knowingly or unknowingly. Maybe you said, I'm not going to be like that. Or maybe you said, nope, that's not me. And then you get older and you're like, holy crap, that is totally me. Good morning, Jackie. Good morning, Jonathan. I think I did say good morning. Um, but that's what happens. And we end up dropping it into the subconscious mind and then behaving. And then sometimes what happens is that certain things in our life start to happen. Okay. Certain things in our life start to happen. And what do I mean by that? I mean, we get these results sometimes that we don't understand where they're coming from. We're like, how, like, for instance, they've stole my car a billion trillion times in my life, right? And I was telling somebody this story and they're like, I've never had my car stolen. And they said, yeah, I know. What in my existence has that particular pattern showing up over and over and over again? If you are doing the work properly, you will take responsibility for that particular thing happening. Now, responsibility in what way? Not responsibility like it's my fault. I didn't steal my car. But what is it that this world is showing me? The pattern keeps showing up. There's an area of opportunity of growth. What is it? Is it something that was seated in the subconscious mind? Is it perhaps karma that I'm going through? Why does this pattern keep showing up? It doesn't show up for everybody, but it certainly was showing up for me all the time. So I didn't understand it. Bye, Mama.
Love you.
Love you. Oh, and then you guys get to see Mom in the morning.
Bye, everybody.
Love
Have
you,
a
love.
blessed day.
Have a blessed day. And now I have lipstick on my mouth. I'm gonna get on here and do a makeup tutorial one day, and I'm gonna look like a clown. Just kidding. I probably would because I don't wear a lot of makeup. Okay. I'm not very good at application of makeup. Okay, so off topic. So again, there are seated patterns in the subconscious mind. Now, good morning, Carlos. The question is, how did they get there? How are they programmed? So sometimes we have to allow that trauma to come up. Now, I'm not telling you to do this right now because here's the deal. Good morning, Doreen. I am not a psychologist, psychiatrist. I don't have that kind of certificate or whatever, right? I'm not claiming to, and I never will. Now, in that particular structure, or I should say, in that particular educational structure, Robert, hi, Mom, is right. They're going to diagnose you based on whatever. Okay. I would say if you're not ready to dig deep into the subconscious mind to extrapolate or pull out the traumas that have set you back in creating what you want in your life, don't do it yet because people don't understand. Here's the deal, they don't understand how to utilize that power or that energy for good, and they end up getting lost in what? Chaos. They end up getting lost in the trauma of it. They get entangled and they don't know how to move forward. Good morning, Jose. And some people have so many skeletons in the closet that if they let them all out at once, they might go crazy. I am not telling you guys to do that. Good morning, Jesus. Don't go taking out all your skeletons in the closet all at once, okay? Especially if you're older, conditioned, and have a lot of skeletons in the closet. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because you probably don't know how to take that trauma and transmute it, right? Or putrefy or whatever the putrefaction process. There's all these processes that you have to go through in spiritual alchemy when you're transcending the soul. And if you don't know what you're doing and you're opening up the floodgates to all the trauma, you could really screw up your mental space, cause chaos, not know what to do with it, and then be like, what the hell did I do? That is why the spiritual path is the hardest path to take, because what we're unveiling, right, are the deepest traumas that we have within ourselves, the deepest traumas within our soul, within our subconscious mind, the deepest traumas that happen that were seated way before, maybe even when you were in the womb. Because in the womb, we're still receiving information, we're still gathering information, we're feeling and experiencing things. Like, for instance, if you're in the womb and let's say that the woman is getting abused, right, by the husband, or the woman is doing drugs, or the woman is whatever it is, right? If all this trauma is happening, you're actually absorbing that trauma too. Now, some people can remember it. Some people really honestly can go all the way back in this past life or transregression into other states of consciousness and being will untangle that for some people. And some people will actually know, like, hey, this is what happened. I was in a traumatic situation and they know it. There's people who actually know it. And then imagine after the trauma of even coming out of the womb, the trauma of even being born. I mean, think about it. You know, babies don't come out smiling. Why do we come out crying? We don't come out like, hi, I'm here. Hi, let me just wave at you, mom and dad and everybody. Yay, let's throw a party. No, they come out crying. They cry. Most babies will come out crying. Why? Because they're like, send me back. Well, what did you just throw me into here? What did I just get thrown into? Oh my God. You're not responsible for the programming you received in childhood. As an adult, you're 100% responsible for fixing it. When my cars were stolen, instead of wondering why this happened to me, when my cars were, oh, great. So your cars were stolen too, Jonathan? Yeah, good luck. So are mine. Oof. They said I was the happiest person who ever got their car stolen. The cops, they were like, I've never seen anybody so happy about this. I was like, I'm not. What can I do? I can't do anything about it. Um, I'm able to tap in and see where the position are. They needed it more than me. Something special happens after that. Yeah, that's exactly. Hi, Mama. That's exactly what happens to me. My mom's on here. She can attest to this, and the viewers can attest to this of what's happened to me when that's happened. Um, that it's how we engage the situation. But for people now, I would say, I don't know if fix is the right word to say. So I would say, rather than fixing it, right? It's not that we're fixing it, because I don't know that there's a way to fix something that's already happened. It never goes back to the same way. And the way that and what I'm talking about is, think about like a glass that breaks. You can put it together and quote unquote fix it, but it's never going to 100% be back to the way it was before. So I would say the way that we see this or view this in spiritual alchemy is, we say it is an opportunity to utilize it into molding into something different. So we transmute, we transform the energy into something else. And that's what I talk about all the time. How do we take the energy that we quote unquote feel is broken and then change it into something that we can utilize? We can and now reprogram, question mark maybe. That's a good question, because I question the same thing. Is it possible to reprogram our minds? Now I think it is, and I believe it is, and I know that there's people who say it is possible. The thing is, reprogramming that there's still this, it's inevitable. Life is a pattern, period. It's that simple. If you can understand the patterns and you can recognize the patterns, then you're one step ahead of a lot of people, because most people don't recognize patterns. All I have to do is sit with somebody for like a couple of minutes, not even a long time. Uh, Hear what they have to say. I can tell you their patterns. I can tell you the stresses in their life. I could just peg it down. Why? Because I understand human behavior is very simple, but we make it so complex, but it really pegs down to only a few things, really, when you get to the root of it. But sometimes the patterns will play out even when we think we've reprogrammed ourselves to engage it differently. Really, are we reprogramming it, or are we just engaging it from a different perspective? That might be the question, right? Because I don't know that it's a possibility to, and it's possible, right? And you guys are out there and say, well, there's this thing you can reprogram yourself, whatever, which I think is possible. But how do we reprogram ourselves? What are we reprogramming ourselves with? And are we getting the same results that we had before? Because is that really reprogramming? We would get different results if we thought about a computer, okay? And we thought about programming, right? And we said, look, um, I'm going to program like a website. But the programming for a website and the programming for, I don't know, a video game, two different things, right? They're two different things. So could we reprogram ourselves for something different? Maybe it's a better version, but some of the coding is the same. I don't know. That's the big question, because if I knew that, I would be like reprogram, and maybe I would be able to levitate, and maybe I'd be able to move things with my brain and all this stuff. Okay, which I'm not 100%. Can I do that right now? No, in my dreams I can. Right? In my dreams I can fly. In my dreams I can do all these cool things that I can't do, and I wake up and I go, "Wait, was that real?" So then you start to go, "Wait, is this real or is a dream world real?" Because I dream every night. So which world is really real? Good morning, Nicole. Which one has no bounds? Now, here's what I thought about the subconscious and the conscious mind. Okay, that the subconscious, and when we go to sleep, that is the quantum dream. When we come back to reality of the physical world, that is sort of entangled in natural law, right? Our law of physics is the macro. So we might see it at the macro level is maybe what we're dreaming here in this illusion, and then the micro of the quantum realm in our dream, lucid dreaming, which would be the subconscious mind. That maybe somehow we learn how to engage both for the betterment of who we are. And maybe that's how the program works. But I don't know. Those are things to be discovered. And if you guys are like, what the hell are you talking about? That is okay. Half the time, people are like, and that's okay. But if you understand what I'm talking about and you have some insight, I would love to know. Hey, Shorty, how are you? I have not seen you on here in a long time. So welcome back. um, so yeah, I think the programming is an interesting question. How do we, so I think we can reseed. I don't dream very often, or I don't remember. Yeah, um so my mom knows I dream every night, and I remember my dreams every single day since I was a little girl. And when I was little, I used to have nightmares. Freddy Krueger nightmares. That was the worst movie I could have watched ever. Traumatized the hell out of me. Because I dreamt every night and I didn't want to go to sleep because I knew I was going to dream about Freddy, and it was awful. And then the whole entire movie of Freddy Krueger was based on that psychology. Don't go to sleep because I'm going to come for you. And I was like, shit, I don't want to go to sleep because all I'm going to do is have these nightmares of him. It was awful. Anyway, The dream world could be the quantum connection. So what I'm trying to say, or what I'm pondering, and I don't know how true it is, but I did think about this the other day, and I didn't give it 100% thought, but now I am. Good morning, Marcos. Um, is that the quantum world of dreaming doesn't play by the same law of physics that we play by here in the physical world, which is why we have access to that quantum world. So this is just a theory for me, because obviously I can't prove it, and I don't even know. I'm sure someone out there, if I have this thought, someone in the world is actually having the same thought. That's the way this works, right? If you have a thought, someone in the world has a thought, and everybody's thinking the same, right? In some way. So I would say that in the quantum, when we sleep, we're accessing the quantum realm, and there's no laws that apply like physical law here. Because when you think about it, it's like I could defy all of what we know to be true here when we're awake in this dream. So I hope this is making sense. Like in this world, and we're sort of governed by these physical laws, right? And the physical laws that we're governed by in this world are what? The law of gravity, right? Gravity holds us where we are. We cannot fly, right? We'd have to have wings. But now we've understood aerodynamics, and we've learned how to fly jets and planes, and we've done balloons, and we've done all this stuff, but we ourselves cannot fly without some mechanism supporting us to do so. However, in the dream world, okay, when we go to sleep at night, we defy that, right? There's no law. We go from one space to the other in like a second. It's like all of a sudden we're in the kitchen, the next second we're in a warehouse, and we're like, how did that happen? How did I end up here? How did I jump from this to that? Or we're flying. Like I can fly in my dreams, right? Some people can fly, and I can. I'm one of those people, right? Or we can control our dreams, but it doesn't make sense, right? None of it makes sense. And that's sort of what we see in the quantum realm. We see that nothing makes sense. There's no sort of order or pattern. And the deeper that we go, the crazier it becomes, because we have something like quantum entanglement, right? Where two particles are interconnected and they're at a distance from each other. And we're like, well, how did that happen? How is that possible? Because when we think about it from our understanding of natural law, physical laws of nature, they don't operate that way. At least we don't think so. We can't understand it. So thinking that the dream world, good morning, those on Podbean. I think some people have gotten on and off. I think Abraham, good morning. Let's see, who else is on here? Lita, some kite, some kite. Mm-hmm. Shorty says, "Good morning. I'm back. Good. I'm glad." And then I am a dreamer, and I remember them crazy. Uh, they didn't make sense when dreaming, but when you are telling your dream, it sounds whack. Deja vu is from your dream. Yeah, yeah, it is. And good morning, Andrea. Yeah, and I think that that's what ends up happening. Good morning, Lady B. Good morning, Beth Bailey. 777. Seven. Oh, 777. Beth Daily. I'm gonna ask these people on Podbean what their names mean, because they have interesting names. Good morning, Gato. Good morning, Gato. Oh, by the way, Gato will be playing on December 29th. I'm gonna probably go. I'm gonna try my hardest. If I don't have to work, I'm gonna go. I want to go see your band play because I love music. Okay, there. Boom. So the quantum realm, and this is a pretty interesting. I love you too. This is an interesting topic because for me, and I don't know, and I haven't done any research. So if anybody on my Podbean or anybody on Facebook Live knows somebody who's doing research in this realm, let me know. I'd love to read a book, or at least understand if they're trying to make the connection that our dream world, quote unquote dream world, because each one is a dream, but the dream of when we go to bed at night, is that our quantum dream, our subconscious dream of quantum realm. And how do we utilize that particular quantum realm to support us here in this physical realm dream, or the physical dream that we have, which is our body, right? Our feelings. Because it feels so real, right? Both are real. And they've always been very real to me, both worlds, because I live in both of them. It's like I've never had just a blackout night where I don't dream. It's never happened to me. Some people do, right? Where they're like, I don't remember. Like maybe they did dream, they just don't remember. Me, I have a very active mind apparently, and I remember, right? Like last night I was on a beach with a friend, like from middle school friend, and we were on a beach and on a vacation, but we are in somebody's house. And so here we go, like me describing what the dream was like in the quantum realm doesn't make sense, right? And so we're in this house, and then we're going into somebody's room, and we're kind of looking out the window, and there's these people outside, but the house really isn't a house, it's a restaurant. And so and it's like all these things all at once. Does it really make sense, right? And mostly it doesn't. um there's people trying to call in. One day I'm going to do a Podbean call-in session, I think, to try to do some, maybe coaching, maybe you guys, I don't know, coaching on Podbean with Spirit and Coffee. We'll try that. Every dream is your reality in some way. Back good, black is good, and white is bad, and reality is opposite. Yeah, it's just crazy. I mean, I fly. I can fly in my dreams. It's pretty cool. And the way that I fly, it's really interesting because it's not like I just get up and fly, right? It's almost like a levitation first. Like I put my foot up, and then I put my foot up, and before you know it, I'm levitating, and then I'm flying. And people are like, "How are you doing this?" But then it's funny because in pulling those dreams into the physical world, that there are times when you're a very lucid dreamer, when you dream like all the time, you almost get you almost are like, wait, is this a reality or is this not real? And like sometimes in my dream, I'm like, yes, I can fly in reality. I know that I can. And then I wake up, and then I feel bound by the physical laws of this body. And this body feels like it should be able to do more. Okay. And that's what I'm telling you. And we are capable of doing more in the physical world here in this particular dream of awakeness, right? We're awake from the dream, but we're in the dream to awake to the dream, if that even makes sense to any of you guys. Okay. Every dream is your, oh yeah. I have had dreams where I fly also. Yay. See, it runs in the family. We're all flyers. Woo. Um, So think about it. Think about your dreams. Think about how your dreams can be landed into the um, quantum realm, and that our dreams here in the physical world are something beyond that, right? It's like, how do I how do I utilize what I'm understanding in my subconscious mind and bring it into motion in the physical world? Now, again, the subconscious mind is a pretty scary place for most people. It's a scary place to go because there are, again, skeletons in the closet, and we all have them, and we're afraid to release them, and we shouldn't have to release them all at once, and we should understand how to release them before we do that, so that we're not dealing with a bunch of chaos and putting ourselves in a perpetual state of what? Depression, anger, uh, I don't know what are other ones. I think those are the big ones, right? The anger and the depression. It's like you're either really upset or you're overly emotional, right? And you want to just whatever, or you want to check out of life, or you want to engage in, not engage in life, but engage in life, like I want to punch your face kind of engage in life. Okay, so there's very different ways that this comes out and out of us, right? There's different techniques that you can use to support you as you're pulling out the skeletons in your closet, but you cannot, okay, you can't, there is no other way to come to who you are as a person and actually move forward until you do the process. You can pretend, and people know those people that pretend that they're happy and they're everything is so great, and then all of a sudden, boom, they explode, and you're like, what the hell happened? or all of a sudden, I hate to say it, some people will take their own lives. And you're like, what happened? They were so happy. Robin Williams, right? He was one, and he put on a front for the entire world, but deep inside, he was dying. People are like, oh, those stars, they have everything. They should be happy. The reality is you don't know what's going on in their life. And think about it this way. You're a star, and then you have all these people coming at you. You can't even go have dinner constantly. They know what they signed up for, right? I'm not going to say that they don't know what they signed up for, but imagine not being ready to take that on. And sometimes these child stars don't know this, and their parents push them into it, and they end up crazy. Look at Britney Spears, okay? She went crazy, and then people made fun of her, and I felt really bad for her. Why? Because why did she end up that way? Well, she was forced into it, right? Her parents are forcing her in as a child to be this child star. She goes everywhere. She can't find time to breathe. She doesn't know who really wants to be her friend. She thinks that people that want to be her friend are trying to steal from her, just want her because she's famous or money or blah, 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 blah. Too much for a small kid to process if they're not mature enough to understand who they are. She didn't know who she was, so she shaved her head. She said, shoot, this is who I am. Let me shave my head off. And F you world. Good for her. She just let it all out, and she let it all out in front of the masses, and good for her. Amen, sister. Do it all. Who cares? Go crazy if you need to. She brought it back. She reined it back in, and now I think she's doing okay mentally, hopefully. But if we're not ready, if we don't know how to utilize that energy, and we don't know how, don't go letting it all out of the bag at once, okay? You can be chaos everywhere for yourself. For what? A little bit at a time. Understand the process. Good morning. Oh, look, it's Nando. Oh, Fernando. Howdy. Good morning, Nicole. I am so glad that Fernando showed up. I got to meet him, and I told you I'd do a shout out for you. But he's a follower of Spirit and Coffee, and he knows my cousin very well. And then I saw him, and we had a good talk, didn't we, Fernando? Now tell me, Fernando, how you feel. Am I the same in person that I am online? That's the question. I just want my followers or viewers to know that if you meet me in person, please come up to me and say hi. If you see me out and about somewhere and you're like, there's that Spirit and Coffee girl, um, I see your little, like, tiny little things, and sometimes it's not your face. So I don't remember everybody who's following me. I don't know everybody who's following me. I mean, you might feel like you know who I am, and you do because I tell you all my stuff. Come say hi to me. We can take a selfie and then we could put it up and say, look, yay, Spirit and Coffee, woo. If I have any gifts to give away, I'll give them away. Okay, so if you want to write something, Fernando, that'd be great. Is she the same? Yeah, she's crazier in person. I'm just kidding. Actually, I'm not. Okay. Why do you look at death no matter how it happens? Why do we look at death no matter how it happens as a horrible thing? Why don't we look at it as a gift, just as life? Okay, so I don't know that we all do that, okay? And I think the bigger question is, do you look at death that way? And if not, tell us why you think that death could be a gift to us. Now, there's different ways to experience death. Not just death of the human flesh, but there's also death, right? They always say I was reborn. So you have these people that are very religious people that'll be like, I was reborn today. Well, what does that mean? I was born into, I was, all this. What does that mean? It means that we allow certain parts of ourself to what? Die off. Why? So that we could be reborn into a new version of ourselves. So we die off parts of ourselves. Death is part of the alchemic process. Death and rebirth is the phoenix rising. Now we have, the cool thing is that we see that there are movies talking about this right now. They're really focused on this right now in um, Hollywood. Notice the movies that are coming out. A lot of it has to do with the phoenix. Why? You guys ask yourself why. because we are at a pivotal point in humanity, in history right now, where we are in a huge transformation of the masses. It's time to wake up. I told you guys this before. Wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. The more that you wake up, the more that you're self aware, the more that you take personal responsibility, the easier life becomes. If I do something, I just take ownership of it right away. This new position that I'm doing, I don't say I didn't do that. I say, yeah, I did do that. If it's not the proper process, what is? Show me. I'm pulling from the information that I already know. If I don't know it, I'm not doing it because I don't know it. I'm doing it because I either forgot to do it, right? Or because I don't understand what the process is. Is there a process? Because what I'll do is I'll apply the process to what they're saying. And if it doesn't work, I'm going to say your process is not working. I did exactly what you told me to do. Let's go through it. Is it working? Not necessarily. How do we make it work for me? Where's a process that works so that I can get the results that I need to get? Why? Because I do want to get the results. I'm committed to getting the result. I'm committed to this particular thing. And when I commit to something, as you guys know, I give it my all until it works. Or does it? Okay, so let's see. Why do you, okay, as a culture we do. Yeah, I think as a culture we do look at death like we're afraid, but people are like I said, the number one fear is actually public speaking. It's not even death, believe it or not. So so again, let's look at that, right? How do we pull the skeletons out? How do we transmute the skeletons out of our closet? How do we deal with them, look at them, support us into it, okay? Is that Brittany? Good morning. Yes, it is. Good morning, Brittany. Okay, so Jonathan says, good morning, Melanie. When we die, we will not have to put up with an everlasting non-existence because that is not an experience. Oops, hold on, let's see. Try to wake up without having gone to sleep. That was when you were born. You cannot have an experience of nothing. After you're dead, only thing that can happen is the same sort of experiences when you were born. Try to wake up without having gone to sleep. Okay. Not sure what you mean by that. I'll have to ponder on that just a little bit to see what you're trying to say there. Okay. That was when you were born. Okay. You cannot have an experience of nothing. Um, yes, you can. You can have an experience of nothing, and in fact, that is the goal. But we are afraid of nothing. That's the thing. There is a nothing. Out of nothing is everything. This is the part that gets a little confusing, right? And it's a little bit deeper in the work than I mean, I've talked about it, but there's a deeper understanding of the work that I don't necessarily talk about on Spirit and Coffee. I mean, I probably do, but the reality is the majority of the population, right, is not there are, and I don't want to say this, but they come and I don't know how much they are actually. Good morning, Marco. How are you? Um, they come to Spirit and Coffee, and sometimes the information might be a little deeper than Spirit and Coffee, but it's a philosophy for sure. Yes, a philosophy that takes a lot of deep, deep, deep understanding. And good morning, Victoria. And to understand the philosophy and to dig deep, right, would be mean that we need to come up with concepts that are pretty kind of simplified for people who are not interested in that particular topic or are not going to go do their own research. I was in the elevator at work and I had you on. Everyone heard you say good morning. Everyone said good morning to you and asked if they were on Facebook to listen to you. You're a fabulous speaker. Oh, thank you, my mama. She's so cute. Such a promoter of me. Thank you, mama. And yes, please let those people on. And let them know they can follow me on Podbean if they want to listen on Podbean on the podcast, or they can come Facebook Live, which is awesome. And Podbean listeners are kind of low today, which is kind of interesting. We had people enter and leave the studio, which is fine. Not the day for Podbean users to get the message. It's okay. Hopefully, somebody is listening out there that needs to hear what is happening. And oftentimes, when we do these deeper dives, Jonathan, we lose people because these are sort of people who are interested in doing like the deeper work that perhaps you and I do, which is read, and obsess over it. Now, I'm not sure that anybody on here is completely obsessed in the way that we are on specific topics, right? Good morning, Jewel B. Jewel B. Jewel B. I like that. Jewel B. I like to take people out of their comfort zone. Beautiful things happen after. Yes. And that is what this is about. But if you don't have the language to describe it to them, they're not going to get the message. And that's something that I'm learning myself is how do I support people into understanding this information and meet them where they are. And that is exactly why I like when people engage like you. I like when people actually write stuff and put their 2 cents in, because the perspectives and the language is going to be different, but it's going to say the same thing. But it's going to hit somebody's heart a little differently if we use different words. And that's what I've been talking about. Even those on Podbean, for the ones that show up, if you insert your information, if you say something, I'm going to read it and I'm going to engage it. Why? Because I myself am learning as you learn, and together we learn. This is not Natalie knows everything, come to my show. I don't know shit. Okay, I tell people that all the time. I know nothing. I am just here to provide support in ways that I can provide support. But on the opposite end, there's an engagement of me receiving support from you guys as well. Now, on Facebook Live, I used to bring people in. I'm not able to do that anymore. Okay, because I was going to have a live speaker. So we will be doing Instagram Live on Saturday with Lisa. Podbean, there's callers who call in, but I don't know how to let them in. And if I let them in, is it going to work or not work? I don't know how that works yet, right? So there's a level of engagement that gets to happen. Why? Because everybody's voice matters. Everybody's voice matters. Like what you have to say matters. What it is that you're trying to describe in words may not be exactly what you're trying to describe in experience, because experience and words sometimes get lost in translation. So our internal world, and this is what I was talking about before, we want to communicate with clarity, right? With clarity. We want to, how do we engage with clarity in our words, what we're experiencing here in the physical world? I've been talking about that over and over. Sometimes the words that we write will not express exactly what it is we're trying to convey. We don't have the language for it. Some cultures have words that we don't have. We have some words that some cultures don't have, right? Because you're doing great. Oh, thank you, Andrea. Thank you. I appreciate that. Good morning, Tim. Good morning, Joe. Good morning, Kim. Who else is on here? Good morning, Grimmy. I think people are off Podbean, is what I'm guessing. Okay. So to describe, and I'm saying this because in what you're saying, there are a couple of things that you cannot have an experience of nothing. You can. I know because I have. Now, here's what I think. I think people are afraid to experience the nothingness. But when you experience the nothingness, you tap into the everything. It's through the void that you tap into the everything. There's a void, right? And in part of the alchemic process, part of what we go through the pillars. And behind the pillars are the void, the great nothing. That particular thing is good morning. Thank you for sharing the video. So again, it's the philosophies, the ways of thinking. Now, you can say, well, I don't experience the nothing, and that's fine from your perception. In spiritual alchemy, there is a grand nothing. And that is the belief system that I have. That is the process that I use, and that is spiritual alchemy. There is a void, but we're afraid of the void because we feel like the void is death, and it's not. It's a return to source, to everything. That's where I was telling you there's this big, like, for me to understand the nothing and the everything took a while because I was like, wait, in the nothing, there's everything, in the everything, there's nothing. What does that mean? So I came up with an actual picture, okay, and a depiction of what that even meant. How do we experience that particular thing? How does one begin to experience the void, the nothing, so that they can experience the everything? And that's the picture of the vessel, where we open ourselves up to everything. But in being everything, we're nothing. Okay? Explain if you can. Okay, explain your experience. Thank you. Good morning, Nafine 828. Thank you for joining. I'm going to try to explain what that means, experiencing the void. Okay. Good morning, whoever else entered into Podbean. Good morning to you. So, we're talking about the void for those who just joined on Podbean. And someone asked me to explain what that is. Okay. And the experience of it. Good morning, Ish. Ish. The experience of the void is a surrender. It's the feeling of surrender and letting go. It's allowing ourselves, right, to be completely open to everything and anything that is possible. So it feels like riding a roller coaster and letting go of everything that's in, like, if you guys have ridden a roller coaster, okay, I don't know if you guys have ridden a roller coaster before, or if this was your experience on a roller coaster, but you have to surrender. You're on the roller coaster, you're going to do whatever it wherever it takes you. You can try to hold on and stuff, but you're still going down. Or you can let your arms go. Now, to experience what the void might feel like in the body, okay, I would call it surrendering, okay? And this is a practice, and I've talked to people on here about practicing. And from my personal experience, what I said is, if I'm going to get on this roller coaster, I've got to trust that whatever mechanism's holding me in is going to hold me in. Like, I'm putting my complete trust in something that I don't know. So trust is a big part of experiencing the void and the nothing, right? Because it's a surrender to everything. It's like I don't control anything. Okay. So imagine you're on a roller coaster and you're tick, 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 and going up is this, for me, when I would go on roller coasters, going up was like the scariest part. Coming down was easy. Letting go was the hardest part. But going up, because there's that anticipation, it's so slow, right? And that's how it goes tick, 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 as you're moving up the roller coaster. My stomach starts to turn. So there's this fear, right? Of like your gut, right? It's gut wrenching. Okay. For me. Good morning, Roberto. And as I'm going up the roller coaster and my body is having a physical response and sensation, I can't turn back. There's no way I can't turn back. It's like it's gonna happen. Here it goes. I just gotta go with it, right? Good morning, Myra. So I go tick, 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 tick. You get to the top, and there's like this pause. There's a pause, right? Before you actually drop down. That pause, it almost ignites that experience of if you were going to bungee jump or go off the plane, right? Where you're like, ugh, but it like pauses and then it's go time. And then you're just, and before you know it, you're on a whirlwind. Once you get going and it starts to circle and stuff, it's like, whatever. It's so fast that you don't even, you're like, okay, I'm surrendered. That's it. Now, here's the thing with me. Some people, when they're going to go through the void, they hold on, they want to control it still, and they don't get the true benefit of what it's supposed to, of what you're supposed to experience. Now in life, when we're letting go of the void, that's what we do. We cling on to things. We're like, oh my God, this is mine. I'm going to cling on. I can't let go. I can't let go. I can't let go. I can't let go. Right? Good morning, Auntie Christine. And we do this and we hold on. So here's what I did. Okay. I said, you know what? I am going to let myself be completely free. How? When I go on this roller coaster, I am going to keep my hands in the air. I am just going to keep my hands in. I'm just going to trust. And if I have to close my eyes, keep my eyes open, whatever it is that I do. So the surrender, and here's the scary part, and this is like going through the void, right? Is surrendering and opening up completely and allowing yourself to go through it. So how do we do that? Good morning, Tina. Good morning, Bowie. Um, Letting your arms up on the roller coaster, right? And allowing yourself to just go. Like I literally would let myself hang, trusting that this thing was going to hold me in. And it did. But I let go and I just let it take me wherever it was going to take me. And then I was fluid and I was one with the roller coaster rather than holding on and clinching and trying to control it because I can't, and then having a sore back and stuff because I'm trying to control something I can't. Let go, open up, and allow yourself to be free. Why do people, when they get in accidents and they're drunk, not get hurt? Because their body doesn't tense up, they're loose. They're just going with whatever it's doing, and so their body's like this. They're surrendering to whatever, they can't help it. But when somebody clinches up and then there's a force, what happens? You hurt yourself, right? So the void, okay, that you're asking me about feels like surrender. Now we can still say on the roller coaster there's a mechanism that's holding me in place. So is that true freedom? Because I'm trusting that that mechanism, well, then you could take it a level deeper and you can say, okay, well, I'm going to go skydiving. Why? Good morning, Kingaloo. Sorry if I'm saying it wrong, but you're good morning, Tis. So we take it a step further into the surrender where we're like, I don't want any mechanism, so I'm going to go skydiving. And we jump out of a plane. I've done that as well. I've just done everything. So I said, okay, let's jump out of the plane. And I wasn't scared until the day of. And I was like, am I really going to do this? And in my brain, I was, I was trying to act like I was cool. Like, I got it. But really, in the back of my subconscious, I was like, holy shit, I'm going to jump out of a plane. What am I doing? And when I did it, there was a sense of freedom. I've done high ropes and had to like sort of jump off of a pole. That is the fear. The fear is the unknown. The fear is in the void. There's an unknown, and I have to let go, and I am not in control anymore. That's the experience of the nothing because we are not controlling who we think we are, quote unquote, think we are. Okay. Good morning, 1905 GS. 05 GS. My apologies. Zero. Okay, so I hope that that is a description or depiction of what I'm talking about when I talk about being in the void. It's the feeling of surrender. And thank you for asking me to describe what it is that I'm going through in the process. Because people are afraid, they're afraid of heights. Why are they afraid of heights? They're afraid they're going to fall. Are they afraid that they're going to die? Or are they afraid of the fall? Which one? Most people, good morning, Ignacio. I haven't seen you on here for quite some time. Most people are afraid of the fall. They don't know what they're going to, they know that when you fall, your stomach has this gut wrenching feeling, sensation. But when someone who's gone skydiving and done all this, they're not afraid of heights because they understand what the physical sensation feels like. They know. Like for me, I already know what it feels like to fall. Good morning, Jeff. Why are we afraid to fall? Because we have to surrender. We don't have control. That is the void. Going through the darkness is like us not understanding what we can't see. It's like you enter into a dark room and you can't see anything. You're going to be afraid. You're not afraid of the dark. You're afraid that you don't have control. You don't know what's in the space. Is there going to be a bug's going to bite me? Is there snakes in the pit? What's in there? I don't even know what's in there. That's the fear. It's a void, it's a blackness, it's a darkness, and we don't have control over what's in it. We can't see what's in it. Our senses won't tell us what's in it. So that is the fear of the void. And the surrender is a huge part of that. This is it's like we we don't know how to experience the surrender fully because we want to control every damn thing in our life and we don't have control. All we do when we try to control, I'm not saying that we can't drive action in a specific way, but when we control it like a micromanager with our life, guess what happens? We create force and it takes us longer to get where we need to go. When we surrender into the flow, things happen a lot faster. This is the process of like manifestation. You're like, everything just comes easy to that person. Well, not necessarily. They're surrendering to the opportunities that come and taking them as though they are, to me, it means empty or something not worthwhile. Let me go back because there was some words are more meaningful in different languages. Explain your, yes, that's very true, Mama. I don't know if you're still on here. When I say, Jonathan, when I say nothing, I was meaning everlasting non-existence. Nothing exists, and that's everything, but everlasting non-existence does not. Got it. I see what you're saying. Thank you. And thank you for asking me to walk through the process because, good morning, Anna. Walking you guys through the process is hopefully another step forward in you guys understanding how to surrender. It's critical part of the process. If you control everything like a micromanager in your life, it's gonna take you longer to get the results. Let it go. Let go. Or don't. It's up to you. But you need to figure out what's working. If it's not working and you're like, holy crap, I'm holding on too tight. I know it. You're suffocating the life out of something rather than letting it go and be free and flow. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Can't hold back anymore. I mean, there was a Disney movie that's telling you let it go. That is actually them telling you like surrender. You have to surrender. I mean, the whole entire story is about her surrendering to her powers. Like she had to just surrender. She's trying to control it, and the more she tried to control it, she became fearful, and the more fearful she came, the worse it went. They told you this in a Disney story, people. Come on. You think that Disney doesn't do things from an esoteric perspective? Bull crap. Everything that they do has to do with this work that I'm teaching you guys, which is spiritual alchemy. And for those who stay on and listen, yay, congratulations. And for those who don't, yay, congratulations. It doesn't matter either way. The people that are meant to get the message will. And I really want everybody to, because I'm giving you guys information that is pertinent to actually transcending the soul. But are you going to do it? I don't know. Are people going to stay and listen? Maybe not. Maybe they will. Does it matter? Not necessarily. To me, it does. I care. I want you guys to get the information. I want you guys to practice the information, not just talk about it. Like, oh, yeah, there's this cool thing I heard. Doesn't matter unless you practice. Okay. Good morning, Briz. What is it? BMNZ5? What does that mean? I'm gonna start asking people on Podbean. What does your username mean? Please give me some insight. It's Bobby. Good morning, Bobby. Okay. Good morning, Diana. We have one engagement from Podbean. Thank God. People saying good morning. We're talking about the void, the great void, and surrendering. And what does that mean to surrender? And most people skip this step because they want to control everything and we don't. There, just so you know. Okay. I have learned to let go. My Auntie Christine says on Facebook Live, I have learned to let go. Life too short. Life is too short to worry about things not worth worrying about. Yes, exactly. So surrender, okay? Perfect. So thank you again. Okay, and wow, it's been an hour already. Okay, time just went by today really fast. Okay. So I want to thank you guys for showing up today. Also, thank you, Jonathan, for asking me to describe what I mean by things because the engagement from you guys is critical. My listeners on Podbean as well. It's important that you guys engage with me. Why? Because I don't have all the answers. I don't, in fact, I have no answers. I have a lot of questions and I have a lot of understanding from my own perspective. But does that make it right? No. And it's better when I have engagement from other people so that I can sort of say, oh, yeah, that, how do I describe this? How do I support you guys? How do I get better at supporting you guys so that you can experience your best life? That's what I'm here for. Period. End of story. Been saying it for how many years already on here? I say the same thing over and over. My intentions never change, and they're not going to. That's what this podcast is for. You. It is for you. I get something out of it too, right? I get to engage with you guys, which brings me the greatest joy ever to support people in life. So engagement is important for me. Okay. And let's see. Oh, we have more engagement when I said that. Okay, cool. Love you, cuz. Have a great day. Have a great day. When I come and listen, I love it. Makes so much sense. I've let go and makes so much more sense. Yes, please let go. Let go. Let go and let God. Okay. Drop into the flow and live your best life. Okay. I love you guys. Have a fantastical day. And I will be seeing you guys soon. There's a couple of followers on here that we get to meet up. And I'm totally open for that. Okay. Yes. Let go and let God. Boom. Let go and let God. Let go. Let God. Let go. Let God. Let go. Let God. Let. Okay. I'm silly too, you guys. Okay. Love you guys. Have a good day. And I will be seeing you guys tomorrow. Bye.